India's last major civic holiday, Republic Day, doesn't have an American parallel. On the 26th of January 1950, the Constitution replaced the 1935 Government of India Act as the governing document in India. That day is commemorated as Republic Day. Rather than Independence Day, the day in India that receives 4th of July style parades and patriotic celebrations commemorates the day India's Constitution came into force, Republic Day. President Obama attended last year in 2015 as the guest of honor. The adoption of the Constitution was a tremendous moment in India's history, in fact in world history, and is a significant source of the complexity that we're trying to describe, as it established the Republic of India's legal and democratic norms, and it gave birth to the world's largest democracy. Chaired by B.R. Ambedkar, a Columbia University-educated Dalit lawyer, the Constitution of India was groundbreaking for a number of reasons. For one, it gave universal franchise to all Indians. Rather than in Western countries where the right to vote was gradually extended over centuries, it happened in one moment in India, creating a paradox famously described by Ambedkar in the following words. On the 26th of January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. In politics, we will have equality, and in social and economic life, we will have inequality. In politics, we will be recognizing the principle of one man, one vote, one value. In our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principle of one man, one value. This paradox has created a level of complexity in Indian politics and society not found elsewhere. With one stroke, institutions that in the West had developed over generations were suddenly flung open in India. Although experts gave India little chance of succeeding in 1950, aside from the 21-month emergency instituted by Indira Gandhi in 1975 to 1977, India has in fact been a most fascinating democratic experiment in the world, and a huge success. More people vote in India than anywhere else, overcoming some of the most difficult challenges in terms of India's scale, geographic distribution, regional diversity, illiteracy, poverty. In addition to granting universal franchise, how else has the Indian Constitution secured the new republic now on the verge of turning 70? In contrast to the American presidential system, India's framers opted for a UK-style parliamentary democracy, although instead of having the head of state being a member of a royal family, like the UK, India has a president. Like the US, India is a first-past-the-post plurality system, as opposed to a European proportional representation system. Like the US, it is a federal system. However, while at the heart of the US Constitution's drafting was establishing a system of checks and balances to prevent a concentration of power, India's Constitution was drafted in the context of the violence of partition, and it did create a much stronger central government. However, one could argue that both the US and India have trended in opposite directions since the adoption of their constitution, with the executive branch in the United States becoming more powerful than originally intended, and the Indian state governments gradually becoming more powerful and assertive since the time of Prime Minister Nehru. Like the independence of a country, the adoption of a country's constitution is such a key moment in history, as it establishes the rules of the game. It has consequences for all of India's legal context. When a multinational corporation wants to acquire land for a new factory, the constitution plays a key role in shaping that process. Compared to China, for example, the Indian government cannot so easily just relocate people to new areas, compulsory purchase and so on. One of the big reforms that's trying to go through Parliament at present is a Land Acquisition Act, which will make it easier for India to acquire the land required for development, construction and infrastructure. Everything is subject in India to legal processes which are enshrined in the Constitution. Examining India's three national civic holidays, Republic Day, Gandhi Jayanti and Independence Day, has given us some insight into some of the most important issues for understanding India's complexity, such as India's colonial legacy, the international relations of South Asia, Hindu-Muslim relations, foreign direct investment, legal and democratic norms. Following on from this last point, we should now examine India's election calendar in 2016 and see what clues this can give us to the complexity at the heart of Indian politics.